Thought I'd give you an update on where I landed with replacing the rear fender for the SL125. Just by way of reminder, this is the original, and it has some significant damage to it, particularly around this rear edge right here. It's all rippled, even though it might not show up on camera. This section right in through here does have a number of ripples through it. Looks like someone probably at one time tried to straighten it. And though they got it straight, they didn't get the ripples out. A little damage here to the inner part of this roll lip on this side, as well as in here. And of course it's quite rusty on the inside, as you can see, though that could be addressed. And this one mounting bracket right here, I'm pointing to, I'm a little concerned that's a little bit on the flimsy side and might require some repair to secure, make sure that doesn't come apart or come off. It was spot welded on the inside here on both sides. So it could be repaired, certainly, but it would take a little effort. So what I decided to do was replace this with a good used unit, and here it is, right here. Now this is from, I believe, a 72. And I did not get this from eBay. This came from a motorcycle salvage yard in the U.S. state of Montana. I have bought from them before, but it's been a while. Paid $50 US for this, and it's in very good condition, though it's not perfect. Most importantly, this section in through here is undamaged completely. There's really nothing wrong with this. There's no ripples or dents, so it obviously hasn't taking any serious blows. The inside, the inner section is very clean comparatively to the original, which is very rusty, you can see there. It does have a few issues with it. It's not, like I said, perfect. There's a little bit of a dent right here from the inside out, right there, that has flared this part of the fender out, so it does a little bit of this right here. That'd be easily repaired. More importantly, it's got a little bit more significant damage here. This is a stress crack, I believe. It goes all the way through. I think you can see it there. And it does affect the rolled edge. So to repair this, what I will do is drill a hole right where that tear, or that rip terminates right there. I'll drill a hole and then weld this with my MIG welder and grind it back smooth. I'll first have to pull it back into position because this also is flared a little bit. I think you can see. In fact, they're symmetrical, so I don't know if something happened on the inside on both sides to push both sides out, but nonetheless, it happens. So this will be relatively easy to repair also. I'll push it back into shape to get the contour correct and then do the welding I just talked about. And there's also right here and here some stress cracks, I believe, from the spot welds, which are on the inside. They'll locate this inner bracket to the outer skin. And I think, again, those are just stress cracks. So I'll grind that back and I can repair those also with the MIG welder pretty easily. That's the extent of the damage to this fender. There are some minor differences, engineering differences. Honda did make these ears right here, these U-shaped pieces that fit over protrusions on the frame. Honda made them longer. As you can see there, they're a little bit bigger in terms of length this way. Probably just an engineering change, product improvement kind of thing. And these are both very well attached, as you can see here and here. They've been securely welded on, not only spot welded, but they've been welded here and here. The inner bracket or brace on the inside is a little bit different from the original. You can see it's got a separate piece right here, and they changed that to a one-piece unit, as you can see there. I did test fit this on the bike just to make sure it does fit, and it does. It fits perfectly, so there'll be no fit problems when I'm done repairing and repainting it. So we've got a plan in place for this, so that'll be one of the next things I'll do. There's a little bit of a dent right there, I think, too. Very small. I can just feel it. I'll repair that as well. So that'll be one of the next steps, to start the repairs on this. I'll have to grind this paint off here and here, pull these flares in, tweak those in a little bit before I will be able to paint this in a few months or so. But I'll go ahead and get started on those repairs. The other thing I noticed is this fender has a label here for helmet holder, as you can see there. I don't know if the original 71s had that or not. I see no evidence that one was ever in. It'd be right in here. I see no evidence that one was ever there, but maybe it was. I'll do a little checking on that, see if that was original of the 71s or not. So that's the plan for the rear fender, or the replacement of the rear fender. This is, I think, going to be quite a bit less work, and is going to provide a better solution than repairing the original. Even with a lot of repairs, it'd be tough to get this one 100% because of the way this metal is stretched and rippled. It'd take a lot of work to get there. So that's the plan going forward, and I'll bring you back a little bit later on, and we'll talk about this in more detail when I have more of the work. Well, it's actually a day or so later, and I thought I would show you the prep work I've done on the rear fender to get it ready for welding. Couple of things. I did work the dent out here on this side. You remember there was a dent from the inside out, which pushed the metal out towards the camera this way from the inside. I got most of that out. It'll be skim coated now, just to finish that off. And it's pretty smooth now. I also brought that flare in. This was on both sides. It was quite badly flared, and it still is a little bit on this side, and I'll talk about that in a minute. I got most of the flare out on this side. So that side's about ready for skim coating of body filler. The welding will be done on this side of the fender, the right side. Again, this is where those two stress cracks were from the spot weld on the inside, right here. And I did do some media blasting here, as you can see, just to get down to bare metal. Of course, eventually this whole thing will be media blasted, but for now, I got down to bare metal so I can weld it. And then the crack, the stress crack, you can see right there, where I drilled a hole to stop that crack from propagating even after it's welded. And you can see there I did a little, after I drilled it, I had to just grind that. There's a little burr there from the drilling, so I just ground that off and get back down to nice, clean, smooth metal. So I will repair this crack by starting here and filling in the hole, and then I will align. It's pretty close right now. The crack is pretty close in line to metal. It's not perfect, but I'll use a small clamp and pull that together, kind of like you can see me doing there with my thumb, and work my way down and keep clamping and welding, clamping and welding till I get down to the very end. And then of course I'll work my way around with the weld, and as long as I get good penetration through to the back side, I'll probably call it good. If I don't get the penetration that I really want, I'm going to have to do a little cleanup welding on the back side. And then of course it'll be ground back smooth and skim coated as necessary later on. You will see here I've also removed the paint and created this bare spot right here. That's for the clamp of the welder, so I can get a good ground right here. So that's the basic prep work. I think I'm about ready to go to welding, and I've got a setup for that, and I probably won't get to that today, but in the next day or so I will complete the welding of this. Well, it's the next morning, and I have finished the welding and the initial grinding of the weld back of the repair on the right side of the rear fender. If you recall, there was a stress crack right here. Those are caused by the spot weld on the back, and then there was looked like a stress crack starting about right here and going all the way down through the rolled edge of the fender here. So I filled it in with weld, took my time, and now you can see I've ground it back. It's not probably finished in terms of being ground. I need to do a little finer work, smooth it out a little bit more, but it came out okay. Of course, working around these edges like this, you got to take your time and be careful because they can be a little bit tricky. On the back side, I don't know how well you can see that right there. I did get good penetration through. That is, those are not welds from this side. Those are penetrations from the opposite side. But I did put a little more weld on this side right here where the seam comes together. You can see there just because I viewed that as a weak spot. And again, I'll probably do a little more finessing of this weld here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time down in here. It's not necessary. And I don't want to affect the strength of the welds. But this right here, my thumb's pointing to, I'll probably finesse that a little bit more and just do a little fine smoothing of the metal here before I end up skim coating it with a body filler. Of course, I'll have to remove all the paint, and that'll all come quite a bit later when I'm preparing to paint this. It'll still be quite a while as I'm recording this video right now. It's late winter, early spring. We're just starting to get some breaks in the weather from time to time, but it's not anywhere near painting weather outside. It'll be at least a couple more months before I get to this.